and this relates to my ongoing frustration on behalf of the people of King Cove. You made that decision to abandon the opportunity for a roughly 300-to-1 exchange to facilitate a 10-mile, one-lane gravel non-commercial use road so that that isolated community could gain access to an all-weather airport. You made that decision December 23rd of 2013. Do you know when King Cove saw its most recent medevac?
I'm not aware of their most recent medevac.
It was Sunday night. Do you know how many medevacs have been carried out so far in 2015?
I do not.
There's been 5. We're 23rd of February now, there's been 5. Do you know how many medevacs were carried out last year?
No.
There were 16. 6 were Coast Guard, 10 were non-Coast Guard. Do you know how many medevacs have been carried out since you rejected the road?
No.
21 medevacs. 7 Coast Guard, 14 non-Coast Guard. Now, as you and I know, it's not the Coast Guard's mission to provide medevac services, but they do it because they are the only ones that are available to get in. And the easiest, most direct way to help save these lives would be this one-lane gravel, non-commercial use, 10-mile road that you continue to just ignore. So the question to you is, what have you included within this budget to help the people of King Cove? What have you actually done over these past 14 months to fulfill the promise that you made? Because you said that you've concluded that other methods of transport remain that could be improved to meet community needs. What has been done to help the people?
I'm over time. May I have a few minutes to answer?
Please.
As we've talked, Senator, we have engaged conversations with the Corps of Engineers about alternatives, negotiating an MOU with them. It is, I think, approximately 40 miles between King Cove and Cold Bay if you drive. There is 10 miles through the refuge. The balance
we already have most of that road built.
And as I have spoken with people in the community when you and I were both there, it is very difficult in harsh weather conditions to move around that territory period. So I have worked with the Corps of Engineers. We're continuing to do that, to look at alternatives such as helicopter services between Cold Bay and the end of the road that is built, as you reference, because the topography is quite different from the King Cove Airport. We are willing to work with the community on other water-based transportation methods to cover that 6 miles from the end of that road to Cold Bay. But Senator, to suggest that the Eisenbeck Refuge is the same as other lands acre for acre is inaccurate. It is a very unique...
300 to 1. 300 to 1. And, Madam Secretary, in all respect, to suggest that you're going to be able to count on the Coast Guard to establish some kind of a base there in Cold Bay to provide for medevac service is not realistic. It's not rational. The Coast Guard knows that, and you know that. And to suggest that 14 months now have gone by, we don't have anything in the budget to address it, as you have promised that you would do, and in the meantime, 21 medevacs to pluck people out to get them to some level of safety when a 10-mile, one-lane gravel non-commercial use road could help save these lives. We've got to keep working on this, Madam Secretary.
Senator, I recognize this issue. I also, having visited Kivalina, recognize that this is not a unique situation, that there are many villages that struggle in the case of medical evacuations, and I appreciate that it is part of our job to work on that, and I will continue to work with you on that.
That is true, that there are many villages, but there are none that have ready access to an all-weather airport right there.